looking like the hair club from me.
Welcome back to another episode of Ego on Break. I know it's been a while, but finally got caught back up. Hopefully get back on a regular schedule and talk a little wrestling. We still got to catch up on Smoky Mountain.
Yeah.
We're way behind, way behind on that.
I'm so busy.
Life has just got in there and, you know, drop kicked us in the face. Had a few things going on, had some things going on at work. But, yeah, we're back. Hopefully it won't be 8 months for another episode. So, let's talk wrestling.
Only 4 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while. I haven't watched a lot. I know the Madman hadn't watched a lot.
I haven't either, man. I've watched, like, matches.
Yeah, I've seen, like, 1 or 2 matches. So, we're going to ramble, do a little, just see where the conversation goes. I know you had said something about potentially talking about long-term booking.
Yeah, considering nobody does that anymore, hardly.
So, okay, let's talk about long-term booking. So, if you were going to take some guy, say this guy, that guy, whatever, pick a promotion, whatever, do some long-term storyline lines with, who'd you pick?
That's, hell, right now, God, see, like a lot of the guys, I would have went to Ring of Honor. I don't really watch AEW. I don't really watch WWE.
Yeah.
But now Ring of Honor isn't Ring of Honor.
Right.
So it's hard to really say. God. See, I would have to go with like Hammerstone and Davey Richards myself.
Okay.
They just started like a little. I guess Davey had earned like a #1 contender spot. I saw a highlight reel of it.
Okay.
And they beat the ever-loving hell out of each other. And
wow.
It looked like a really good. This could be something. And I know Davey's okay on the mic. He isn't super. And
yeah.
Hammerstone was just. He's getting there. So I think that could be very interesting.
So is Davey a bad guy?
I think he's kind of a
or just a
tweener
dude?
Is what it kind of looks like.
He's just a dude.
I'm the dude. So
yeah.
Okay. I think to do a long term, you definitely need, you know, a few things to go. You know, you need a hero, you need a villain, you need, you know, maybe some betrayal, maybe some saving.
Well, saying he just had what's his name? His old partner turned on him.
Holiday.
Yeah, Holiday. Thank you.
Okay, so there could be some long term there.
If you involved him in it, that'd be kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And especially if you worked Davey as like, is he good? Is he bad? Which way will he go? I mean, you got months of building, and nobody wants to do that, man. And when they did it, like, okay, they did it with the fake cowboy on AEW, and they did it so long.
That's
right
so
now,
bad.
He's the champion. And
Nobody
when you
knows.
look on the poster, he looks so damn out of place.
Yeah.
And I think the best thing they can do is take the damn belt off him. I swear, it just doesn't stand out anymore. You know what I mean? It was too long.
Right.
He's the coronavirus champion when it comes down to it. Like his storyline was during the coronavirus. And the final completion of doing it, more people were really wanting to see Daniel Bryan take it than
because
him.
he had showed up.
So
yes, one of those things that's
they pulled it off so long nobody cared.
But you had to give them credit. At least they stuck with. They had so many other options they could have went with, like you say, Daniel Bryan. You know, they had Punk show up and a few others. Bryan. So
I would have put more.
Kind of cool that they at least followed through with their bookings. You know, it was a long-term booking that wasn't well done, but at least they stuck to it. You know,
then ever since then, he's like had championship defenses that nobody cared about.
Oh, really?
They put him in there with Lance Hoyt, and they had that. Remember, I sent you that clip. Been taking that crazy bump off the top onto the stairs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, y'all have had one match to build to this, and that's what I'm talking about. Like, y'all have one match. It's a regular match. Or I don't even think they had one match. I think like Lance come out and jumped him, and then they're in a street fight. I'm like, why? I'm like, build to the street fight. They don't build to nothing.
It's AEW sometimes gets in that indie booking kind of mindset where it's just let's do it for the sake of doing it, just because.
But
you know,
they do it every week, and it takes away from it.
I mean, that works if you're not if you don't have a crowd that follows you, if you're going to be in a different town every week and not in front of the same people, you don't have a social media presence, whatever. But nowadays, you know, if you're going to be on TV, like, it's got to make sense.
Yeah, I mean, just a jump. I think it was like he got put through a table 2 weeks in a row, and then it became a street fight. And I'm like, okay, but he got put through a table on run-ins. It ain't like you had a match with him and then got. I could have got like 2 or 3 matches.
You want to attack me? You want to attack me? Let's put it in a cage. Let's put weapons on it. Yeah.
Something. It just.
Yeah, too much, too fast.
Garbage, man. Like Darby Allin just had a coffin match. Now his had been carried out a little bit longer. That's what I'm saying. Each week they're having street fights.
So like long-term booking in reality nowadays is like 3 weeks.
If you're lucky.
Yeah, that's crazy.
If you're lucky.
So I haven't watched very much in a long, long time.
I watch more clips and keep up with it that way because some of it I just can't watch.
Yeah.
Like I went and watched I sent you the CM Punk Dustin Rhodes match. Like as a match, that was freaking amazing.
Right.
I was like, wow, if y'all put a story to this could be something.
Could have been good, yeah.
Because this is 2 legends. Like to me, that could be like what they did with Cody and Dustin. Like Cody wanted to end Dustin, and like you could do the same thing with Punk and him. Like what legend comes out on top type scenario. Because Dustin's awesome. Dude's 53 years old.
And still rolling.
That match he had with Punk looked like he was freaking 32 years old. I'm like, unless you know his age, you don't know his age.
Right, and the paint helps too, you know.
Yes.
Helps cover up, he's covered up for the most part, so.
And he's in good shape.
Yeah.
I think he's in like the best shape he's been in since he was like original natural Dustin Rhodes.
Well, they call him the natural.
Natural.
Yes. So. That's my biggest problem with wrestling. That's one of the main reasons I don't turn it on regular TV, man.
The Fiend is out there floating somewhere in, non-wrestling related territory. He could be a guy that you could come back with anyway, or insert him in any promotion. I mean, MLW, New Ring of Honor, AEW, Impact, WWE, whatever. Like, that's a guy you could bring in and instantly, insert some type of long-term storylines with. So if you were going to bring say Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, burnt guy, whatever,
the crispy critter,
and you wasn't going to take him to WWE, let's say he was to, I want to go somewhere where I can just kind of do my own stuff, like an Impact would be perfect.
Impact, honestly. Yeah. I don't know a lot of the guys in Impact right now, but I'd start him with Eddie Edwards.
Yeah, well, I saw that Josh Alexander just beat Moose for the title.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I did see that.
I didn't see what happened or how it built up or anything.
I saw a results type thing online.
But let's say you got Josh Alexander there, boom, let's bring him in and do something with him, because you have Josh Alexander's the wrestler. And then the Fiend is the entertainer. There could be some story there. So that could be kind of fun.
I just get the feeling like Tony's booking it like a fan would book it.
Oh, 100%.
Instead of to me, one of the greatest minds in wrestling's been Raven. If he had somebody like Raven in his ear that could explain to him, hey, Lou, slow this shit down a little bit.
Yeah.
You're hitting the gas. You need to be hitting the brakes. Then hit the gas, then hit the brakes, then hit the gas, and then gun it. Yeah, and I'm like, you're just hitting gas. That's all you do.
He's in a drag race.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the biggest problem.
Let's see if we can get across the finish line the fastest.
But yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I think the Fiend could be something interesting.
The Fiend, Higher Finkel coming back.
I wish, but compared to some of the announcers, but I don't know where he'll wind up going.
I figure back to WWE.
I understand it's money.
Yeah.
Which I don't blame him. That's what wrestling's
about.
And,
Pops is there, so isn't Pops still there?
Brother ain't there.
No. Brother's moved on from wrestling. He's in real estate.
Yeah, I was going to say, I heard he was selling houses and crap now.
So it's a big market. It's a good market for
Bo knows. Bo knows housing.
Just Bo believe.
Just
believe. I'll get you the best price. That's funny. So, yeah.
So we know a couple of wrestlers in the housing business.
Yeah, I mean it's a few. I just thought of like ultimate like heroes in wrestling.
Stand back! There's a hurricane coming through.
And I don't know where I was going with it. And I'll tell you where the idea came from. So I had saw a picture of MJF taking a picture with a fan. And let's say I'm MJF and you're the fan. It was literally like this. Like this much of MJF was in the picture. Look at the screen. And like, so he was like pushing the guy away. And I was like, that is like living the character to the max. You know, excuse the pun.
Yeah.
But MJF has figured out how to be a bad guy. You know what I mean? And I mean, he's still out there doing autograph signings, and you always hear, well, heels can't sign autographs and blah, blah, blah.
You can. I signed autographs.
You can, but you just have to stay in character.
Yeah.
And I mean,
That's all I do.
He's showing, you know, how to stay in character. Hey, can I get a picture with you? Yeah, you can, but I'm going to be like 3/4 of the picture out, you know, like, so I mean, it was hilarious. I mean, so it made me think, like, who is doing hero right in wrestling? Is there anybody doing hero right?
Right now, Punk. He's the only one I could really go to.
Yeah.
Him, actually, Brock as a face this last time, going into Mania, was really, really good. Everything I saw with Brock, I was like, damn, you're a better face than you are a heel.
Right.
Like, you never needed Paul. I just don't think they ever took
He just didn't want to talk.
They wouldn't take the chains off of it. Well, I think he might have a little bit of a vulgarity problem. I don't know.
Well, some of that was his, I mean, because that's what I read, heard, whatever, was like.
Well, and I think he's got kids now, and now he's kind of softened up. And I started seeing him, like, posing with kids and stuff as he would lead the audience. And I was like, he didn't really ever go to adults like us, but he would go to the kids. So he started playing toward the kids. And he didn't really, he never really changed his attitude. Like, he was still I'll kick the hell out of you guy, but he started aiming it for the kids, it looked like. Like, he become...
Do you think he could be Hulk Hogan? Doing the...
I think he would be... Yeah. I would say more Hogan than I would have Cena.
Yeah.
I don't think he would ever be John Cena, but I think Hogan, I could see
Could he
that.
be out there, you know, oh, my little Brockenites. Lesnar Knights.
But...
Yeah. Say your prayers.
I
take your
enjoyed
protein.
Their match was okay at Mania.
Who was in the match? I have no idea.
It was Brock and Roman.
Okay.
Roman come out clean. That's the only time he's ever beat him at WrestleMania. I think that was their
Nice.
third or fourth match, and Brock had always beat him, so he finally went over.
I mean, because you think about it, guys like Hogan and like Steamboat, and you know those guys were like ultimate baby faces. You know what I mean? And
well, those were guys people wanted to cheer too. Like when Roman was a face, only people really cheering him were the little bitty kids, and that was a problem when that's the only people cheering you. When Hogan was the main good guy, everybody cheered him. When he was the main bad guy, everybody booed him.
I mean, he was a kid type character, but he was so relatable, I guess.
All American, you know, and all that. Cena was another one. He pandered toward the children, and the adults in their mid-20s and upper 30s hated him.
Right.
You know, and some of it was like you were supposed to hate him because you were following a trend, but I always respected him as a wrestler. I thought he was okay wrestler. He was never nothing great, but his character was aimed toward children.
Right. I mean, he started off, you know, not being
Thugonomics.
And
Word life. This is basic thugonomics.
I mean, it got over a lot, but then it got to the point where, hey, let's make him a good guy, and then from there, not saying it went downhill because look at him now. I mean, you know, but for the most part, that adult, relatable kind of character went away. So I get it.
Well, who do you think was okay? Austin was never relatable toward children. Maybe you wanted to be, you know, the bad guy, you know, beating up the good guys.
But yet kids had his shirt on.
Yeah,
you know.
But they also saw him as the I don't respect authority type figure.
I want to be like you when I grow up.
I want to be able to tell
I mean, Austin was definitely a hero, you know.
He was the working man's hero.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know, man. Like I see guys like.
Did you ever think Bret Hart was just like the super? Like he never hit Hogan's level of being a superhero.
But I think a lot of that was because their mindset of building the company around a person left.
Oh, I agree.
You know, not that it was still there, but they were slowly getting to where
They had like
you came to
4.
see WWF, not came to see Bret Hart or.
Well, like then, what their hot top was like Taker, Diesel, Shawn Michaels, and Bret. Probably the top 4 right then.
And I don't know if they ever 100% got behind Bret to the point where, like, we're going to push you to be undefeated. Not undefeated because Hogan lost, but he'd lose by count out. Or, you know, but his losses were rare.
You can count on both hands how many people that defeated him cleanly in WWE.
So, I mean, and to me, to make that Ultimate Hero, you have to have that guy that can't be beat. I mean, if Batman lost all the time to the bad guys, nobody cared about Batman. You know, like Batman had to come out victorious. They may live to come back and get Batman again, but at the end of the plot, Batman won.
So that's when they knew how to build up a. Like, okay, I'll give you an example. They brought in Big Boss Man. He had been Big Bubba Rogers in WCW. He was exactly well known. He was known, but he wasn't well known.
Right.
He took a character that was real, Cobb County, Georgia's security officer, and
was a bad guy.
But he come in beating the hell out of people with sticks.
But people could relate to a cop being crooked.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying. But he slowly built his way up, and then he ended like kind of high on feuding with Hogan.
Yeah.
And then I think he went left and went back to WCW. But I'm just saying they built him.
Yeah.
Slowly. They didn't go, okay, 3 matches. Okay, you got to hold that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, I see what you're talking about. And then back then too, a lot of it was based on, you know, they were not doing TV to get you to come to TV. They done TV to get you to come to the events, you know, or buy the pay-per-view every 3 months or whatever.
Now they want you to watch as much TV as humanly possible.
Right.
It's damn near too much.
Oh, I just got overwhelmed to the point where I was like, I just don't watch nothing.
I don't.
I mean, and that's sad, you know.
It got so bad to me, I'd fall asleep doing it.
Well, you can't look forward to it because it's on all the time.
Yeah. It was no surprise.
Yeah, I mean, like
I could be sitting there watching. I'm like, okay, he's going to win. All right, he's going to lose.
Yeah.
And I would only be wrong maybe 10% of the time.
And I'm sure a lot of that was like that for our parents. Like they were probably going like, "Yep, Hogan's going to win, Steamboat's going to win, Savage is going to win." You know. So I mean, I don't know if that really changed. I think it's just the point that there's so much wrestling now that, you know, it's.
I still say 3 hours is way too long.
Yeah.
2's damn near pushing it, to be honest. So,
I've heard a lot of people say that. Like I just listened to a thing. Dutch Mantel was doing an interview and he's talking about. He's like, I think the ratings are still pretty decent because people turn Raw on and go to sleep. Just forget it, you know.
That's it. And people don't count. Like, if you put on your DVR, it counts for the next day or whenever the hell you watch it. As long as you watch it within I think it's a 24-hour period. Okay. It counts for Raw, so.
And I just think, like, I don't know, it's a lot of wrestling right now. Like,
it's too much.
It's kind of like the, you know, if you're a starving man and you find one hamburger a week, you're like, yay, I get to survive. And you look forward to that one hamburger a week. But if you had a hamburger every meal and every snack, and, you know, I mean, you'd eventually be like, hamburgers, golly, you know.
Well, it's like where I guard a Subway. You couldn't pay me right now to go eat a Subway because I am so burnt out on Subways. Yep. I'm like, it just, too much of something is too much of something. And you just got to realize that.
When I was a kid, my mom worked at this like gas station, grocery store type thing, and they caught a guy shoplifting pork chops. And the owner, like he went to the little town jail or whatever, and the owner made sure he ate pork chops every meal. And like he was in there for, you know, a couple months or whatever, 6 months, 8 months, and he ate pork chops every meal.
Didn't want to see no ham.
Yeah, like, well, I mean, you know, after a while, he didn't want no more pork chops.
That's what I'm saying.
You know? So, I mean, too much of a good thing is a bad thing.
No kidding. Damn.
And I think, like, you know, we think back to, like, oh, these long-term storylines, but again, they built them for a blow-off every 3 months, not a blow-off every 3 weeks.
And like, I'm just using the Big Boss Man as an example. He didn't wrestle named wrestlers. He was wrestling me and you and beating us in 2-3 minutes. We might get one move if we were lucky, you know what I mean?
I think I wrestled Boss Man one time.
I'm just saying, as jobbers, you know, main event.
I probably felt like I wrestled Boss Man. But yeah, so.
Well, I mean, when we were coming up, like, we would see Big Boss Man versus Brooklyn Brawler, and we thought we just saw the super match of the decade.
Or,
you know. Yeah, I mean, but they were somewhat of a name. They didn't wrestle Hulk Hogan on TV
Right.
until later on.
Yep. And then you got them at the big shows.
Yeah.
And, you know, we remember those events now. I don't know if I remember what, like, again, I didn't even know what happened at WrestleMania.
I remember staying up late one night because it was the rematch of Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan for WrestleMania 3, and that was at 10 o'clock at night. And I had talked my dad and him to let me stay up. You know, and like, I remember watching. I was a little kid watching that, but that was something special because it never happened on regular TV. Now you see it every week. They give the main event away all the time.
Yeah. They definitely give a lot of matches away that makes you go, why didn't they at least try to do that on something special? You know?
Okay, I'll tell you when they're doing. I know you say like you don't really follow it, but FTR are fixing to wrestle each other tonight because
But
of
it's
the
the
tournament.
Owen Hart thing, right?
Yeah, it's the tournament, and like I'm like, to me that's pay-per-view worthy because this is something, if done right, God willing, they don't break the team up. It's a one-time only
Yeah.
thing. Why would you want to give it away? I mean, I get it helps with ratings, but would you want to? I would rather put it on pay-per-view because to me it seems too special to just give away.
I don't know if it even helps on ratings because, like, that's not something I want to see. Like,
I mean, out of curiosity with some people.
but yeah, so that's been Ego on break. We're getting back into the swing of things before we go any longer, right at 20-minute mark. So until next time,
Watch wrestling.
watch wrestling.